He was born hunted. He united the tribes no one could control. He erased cities from the map and built the largest empire in history. This is Genghis Khan. And the moment the world learned to fear the steppe. In this video, we follow Genghis Khan from an abandoned child on the Mongolian steppe to the founder of the greatest land empire the world has ever known. This is not a legend of barbarians, but a story of survival, strategy, terror, and order, and how one man reshaped the world through conquest. Genghis Khan was born around 1162 and given the name Temujin. The Mongolian steppe was not a kingdom with borders and laws. It was a living battlefield. Winters could kill a man overnight. Summers brought dust and thirst. Tribes raided each other for horses, women, and survival. Loyalty existed only as long as it was useful. Temujin's father, Yesugei, was a minor tribal leader who secured influence through marriage alliances and intimidation. He arranged Temujin's future marriage early, tying the family to another clan for protection. But protection on the steppe was an illusion. Yesugei was poisoned by rival Tatars, and the moment he died, Temujin's family became a burden. Their own clan abandoned them, taking their animals and leaving Temujin's mother to keep the children alive. They survived by scavenging roots, catching fish, and hunting small animals. Hunger followed them like a shadow. Temujin grew up watching his family weaken, knowing that sympathy from others meant nothing. On the steppe, survival was not guaranteed by birth. It was earned by force and will. From the beginning, Temujin learned the rule that would shape his empire. Power is protection, and weakness is an invitation. As Temujin grew older, betrayal became personal. Allies shifted sides. Promises were broken. In a world without courts or stable authority, justice was whatever the strong could enforce. Temujin's early life hardened into ruthless discipline. At one point, conflict within his own household erupted over food, and Temujin killed his half-brother. It was not a heroic moment. It was survival logic taken to its darkest conclusion. Eventually, rivals captured him. Temujin was enslaved and fitted with a heavy wooden collar, paraded like a warning. Most captives on the steppe disappeared quietly. Temujin refused that fate. He escaped, slipping away into darkness, aided by people who saw something dangerous in him, determination that didn't break. That escape did more than free him. It formed his worldview. Temujin decided that loyalty would be rewarded without limits, but betrayal would be punished with absolute finality. There would be no second chances for enemies who tried to destroy him. And then he made a revolutionary choice. He began recruiting followers based not on noble blood, but on merit. Skill, courage, and loyalty mattered more than ancestry. Warriors and outcasts rallied to him because he offered something rare on the steppe: structure. Under Temujin, you could rise by ability, not family name. It was the beginning of a new kind of power. For generations, Mongol tribes had fought each other in endless cycles of revenge. No leader had ever unified them permanently. Temujin understood that unity would not be achieved by speeches. It would be forged by fear, reward, and relentless organization. He built alliances through marriage and diplomacy when it served him. He also shattered opponents through decisive force. Temujin offered rivals a choice: submit and join his growing nation, or be destroyed completely. Those who surrendered were absorbed and reorganized. Those who resisted were wiped out, their leadership removed, their identity broken. This approach was brutal, but effective. Every victory brought more warriors, more horses, more intelligence. Temujin also adopted talented people from defeated tribes, using their skills rather than wasting them. He understood that conquest was not only about killing, it was about controlling. In 1206, after defeating the major rival confederations, Temujin was proclaimed Genghis Khan, universal ruler. The title signaled something unprecedented. The Mongols were no longer a scattered set of tribes. They were a unified nation with a single command. And now, they needed a target. Genghis Khan's genius wasn't only brutality, it was system. He reorganized society into military units, tens, hundreds, thousands, and 10,000s. Each unit carried responsibility. Discipline became identity. Commanders were promoted for competence, not bloodline. A direct attack on the old tribal aristocracy. The Mongol army was built on speed and precision. Each warrior rode multiple horses, switching mounts to keep pace. They could cover distances that stunned enemies. They appeared where no army should have been able to appear, then vanished before a response could form. Mongol archers were lethal at full gallop. Their composite bows could penetrate armor at range. Their tactics relied on deception, feigned retreats, sudden encirclements, and attacks from multiple angles. Enemies who chased a fleeing Mongol force often ran straight into an ambush. Just as important, Genghis Khan built an intelligence network. Scouts ranged far ahead. Captured enemies were interrogated. Cities were studied before they were attacked. Siege engineers, often taken from conquered peoples, were integrated into Mongol forces. The Mongols were not merely raiders. They became a machine designed to conquer states. Genghis Khan understood psychology. He didn't want to fight every city. He wanted cities to surrender before a battle began. So, he weaponized fear. When Mongol armies approached, envoys delivered a choice: submit and live, or resist and be erased. If a city surrendered, the Mongols often spared civilians and allowed trade to resume quickly. Skilled craftsmen, engineers, and scribes were valuable. They were relocated across the empire to strengthen it. But if a city resisted, the punishment was designed to echo across entire regions. Entire populations could be slaughtered. Leaders were executed publicly. Survivors were sometimes deliberately released so they would spread the story of what happened. This terror was calculated. It shortened wars and reduced Mongol casualties. It also created momentum. Once fear took hold, cities opened gates rather than face annihilation. In modern terms, it was strategic shock, the steppes version of psychological warfare, delivered with steel. With the steppe united, Mongol expansion exploded outward. Campaigns against northern China tested Mongol ability to fight organized states with fortifications and large armies. They adapted quickly, integrating siege technology and specialists. Then the Mongols turned toward Central Asia. The breaking point came with the Khwarezmian Empire, a powerful state controlling key trade routes. When the Khwarezmian ruler insulted Genghis Khan by executing Mongol envoys, it became more than politics. It became personal. Genghis Khan's response was total war. Mongol armies struck across vast distances, hitting multiple cities in rapid succession. Major centers like Bukhara and Samarkand were devastated. The campaigns shattered the region's political structure and sent shockwaves through the Islamic world. The scale of destruction was immense, and stories spread faster than the armies. Mongol forces pushed into the Caucasus and toward Eastern Europe, crushing opponents who fought by slower, traditional methods. The Mongols treated distance as irrelevant. They treated borders as meaningless. To enemies, it felt like fighting a storm that could choose where to land. The world didn't just face a conqueror, it faced a new way of war. And yet, the Mongol Empire was not pure chaos. Genghis Khan built a system that could rule what it conquered. He enforced a legal code often referred to as the Yasa, emphasizing loyalty, discipline, and obedience. theft and corruption were punished severely because internal disorder could kill an empire faster than any enemy. Religious tolerance was enforced. Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, and shamans could worship freely as long as they obeyed Mongol authority. This wasn't idealism, it was pragmatism. Genghis Khan didn't want religious conflict inside his empire. He wanted stability. Trade was protected. The Silk Road became safer under Mongol control, and merchants could travel farther with less fear of bandits. A relay system of messengers allowed communication across enormous distances, helping the empire function as one connected network. At the borders, terror. Inside, order. That balance is part of why the Mongol Empire expanded so fast and held together as long as it did. Genghis Khan died in 1227 during a campaign against the Western Shia. The exact cause remains uncertain: illness, injury, or accident. His death was treated as a state secret. The Mongols did not want enemies to know their founder was gone. His burial site was hidden, and legends claim the location was protected through extreme measures. Whether myth or truth, the secrecy reinforced the aura around him. Even in death, Genghis Khan remained unreachable. But his death did not end the conquest. The empire he built was already larger than any steppe leader had dreamed possible, and his successors were ready to push further. Genghis Khan's legacy is split between horror and admiration. He is blamed for mass death on a staggering scale. Entire cities vanished from history. Populations were displaced, cultures disrupted, and regions scarred for generations. Yet he also created an empire that connected continents. Under Mongol rule, trade expanded, communication improved, and ideas traveled along routes that had been fragmented by constant warfare. Some historians call it a violent form of globalization, built not by treaties, but by conquest. Modern genetics suggests that millions of people alive today may descend from him or his close male line, a reminder that his influence was not only political, but biological. Genghis Khan began as a hunted child with nothing. He ended as the architect of an empire that forced the world to reorganize. He proved that history can be changed not by tradition or legitimacy, but by discipline, speed, and ruthless clarity. Genghis Khan began as a hunted child and ended as the master of the world's greatest empire. He ruled through fear, loyalty, and absolute control, and proved that civilization does not always rise gently. Sometimes, history is forged on horseback, with fire behind it. Subscribe to History Scribe for more stories of the people who changed the world forever.